Hey everybody, and welcome back to UE5 BP Guru. Today we're going to be looking at now bringing everything together that we've learnt so far to start creating a bit of a scene like the thumbnail that we've got. I'll bring up the thumbnail. It's a bit pixelated because it was made for the thumbnail, but I'm going to try and get this kind of deep bend within the scene and start placing some of these trees. And I'm even going to try and put in the hills today and try and do this little rocky bit in the middle here. But we're going to try and put this together. So I'm going to put this on my other screen so I can see it, so I can work from it. Now the first thing I've already noticed is I've put the bend here, but it's actually not perfect to what I want. Also, the other thing I wanted to mention as well is I've fixed, if I just do a single one, I have fixed the textures on everything, even the river. Look at that, it looks way better, much better. Even the BP sky blueprint is looking pretty good. It's because I think there was something I think I corrupted the file by accident, just because I was doing too much before it was ready to go. So just be careful with things like that and make sure you give your projects enough time to actually compile and things like that. So I'm going to bring the bend around here, and I'm going to have to obviously move the landscape as well, but I want that harsh bend, so I want it to kind of come around here, and then this one to kind of go around here a bit more. I'm also going to take some of that width away, I think, to update control points. I'm going to drop this down to probably 1500, I think. There you go, that looks a little bit better. I'm also going to change the rotation of this river here. There you go, I think that looks a little bit better. We can get a bit more of a bend that suits us. I'm just going to tighten it up here a bit. I will have to change the landscape, that's fine. And we kind of get this sort of harsher bend here, and then it kind of carries on around, I guess, by the looks of it. Okay, cool. So this is obviously where we're going to have our scene here, so that's fine. Now that we've done that, I'm going to just, I definitely want to just thin it out a little bit more. I'm going to go down to 1000. Yeah, that looks way more like it if we were like here. About here, I'd say that'd be pretty good. Okay, the next thing I want to do now is obviously just flatten it off here, so we still have our bend. There we go. There we go. But I also want to flatten it up here so it kind of raises up like this. I've probably gone a bit too much there, but that's okay. There we go, because you can see as well where it comes up to where the river ends, you get this kind of effect on it. But as I say, I think I've probably gone a bit too much, but then that's probably because my tool's a bit too large for it. So let's bring that down a bit. Get that curve back a bit, there we go. Let's come down. Oh, I've gone too far. Let's get in the right position. Probably say about here is the right position. Now while I'm in this position, I just want to start putting down, now I've got these cheddar foliage, small, medium and large. I want to just start sort of putting them down here, I guess, a bit. Now in the picture we don't have the trunks, so I'm going to see what I've got in the way of kind of bushes and things like that that can cover that up. I'm just going to make them a little bit thick, as they kind of hug quite close to here. So I'm just going to plant a couple here. Let's go back into our position. That's a little bit more like that. And again, it's quite thick around here, so you shouldn't be able to see it past any of these trees. So I'm just going to cover them up with some random trees here and there. Oh, that's just yeah, that's not bad. So we've got this kind of thick line. I want to find and see if I've got something a little bit smaller. Let's go back into our Brushify. See what else they provided us, right? We don't know. Foliage, just look for bushes, generic bushes. Yeah, I'm going to go for the large bush, I think. I'll go for a mixture, actually. It doesn't really matter too much. We want a bit of variety, I guess. And then there's like lots of little bushes sort of scattered along the bank that I want to kind of cover. Why is that not loading in there? Come on. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Now, for this, we want to untick the trees because we don't want it to produce any trees in this selection. And I'm just going to go... Oh, it went all the way over there. Just want to cover that up a bit. Because you've got that thick. Now it's actually smaller trees, and I'm going to see if I can produce a few smaller trees now by doing something. Let's find the small one anyway. Let's tick on that. Let's untick everything else, and I just want to see if I can make it probably about half the size, and just see what it looks like. That's probably a bit too small. Let's go 0.75. Yeah, let's try that. That's a bit better. And I just want to plonk a few down just to break up those big trees. Now that looks a bit too much. I think I've gone a bit too much there. Let's I'm gonna go back to the bushes, and I'm going to do I'm going to click on this one. And then let's do this one. I think it's actually randomizing it, to be honest. Let's come down. Now that looks a little better. It does look a bit better. However, I think they need to be a little bit smaller, to be honest. Let's go with 0.6. Now we could do it so it's random actually by doing minimum 0.5 and max 0.6. Let's erase. Let's make that very small because I don't want to knock away any of the trees by accident. It shouldn't do because I haven't got them clicked, but let's just get rid of that. There you go. Right. Now if I do actually 0.4 to 1, sorry, I should now be able to get quite a bit of a... Oh, undo that. No, god damn it, sorry. Let's just get rid of that. There we go. Single file, unhook the tree first. Now I'm actually going to just paint this, to be honest, I think. But just make it very, very small. I need to probably up the density to 0.1. I want quite a bit. That's probably not as... I probably wanted a little bit more than that. Let's do 0.05. There you go. Give it a bit more. Just fill it up a bit more, make it go around the corner a bit. Let's get back into position, and okay, it looks a little bit better. I mean, I think the grass texture, because it's not showing up as much, would make it look a lot fuller, but that's okay. Now I want to do this side, so let's unhook our branches for a second, our bushes just say. Let's pick up on these. Okay, so I'm actually going to change the landscape, because on this left side, if I bring the photo over, we actually have this kind of ridge here that I want to expose. So I'm going to lift all this up just a wee bit higher. So sculpt, and I'm just going to bring up not much. I don't want there to be any fall off. I want it to just literally bring I just wanted to bring up this bit. There we go. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to push back on this like extra bit it's done to make it a bit more, there we go, a bit more exposed. There we go, and you can see it's actually taking effect because it's got that rock face now on it, which is exactly what we're looking for. Push a little bit more. I don't want to mess with it too much, but I just do want it to be a little bit more kind of I probably need to get down a bit. I should probably slow down my camera, right? So I get a bit more precise. Let's get a bit closer to that water's edge. I've lost my picture. Let me just get my picture back up. There we go. Okay. So it's just I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit. I don't want to do it too much. There you go. Looks a bit better. And then I want to go back into my foliage. Now I think I've done probably a bit too much on here. There's not a lot of variety. You kind of have like a second sub layer here, but that's okay for now. I'll live with it. And then sort of about here. No, I think that's too close. Probably let's go up a bit. What about there? Is where they kind of, oh gosh, is where they kind of start to come in. And I am just gonna keep putting them. Now we have this like little break here, so I only want the small one here to be about there, and then we have a couple of medium ones and small ones like here, and then sort of about here. It's not actually that much. And then now yeah, it's about like that. And then you have kind of like a load more. It gets very thick on this back bit. I'm only going to make it small ones, but I'm just going to do like a sort of I'm just going to paint a very thick, dense sort of layer of trees behind all this. And then I want the mountains here, and then going off in the background. So let's do the mountains first, kind of decide where they're going to go. Now, they are obviously quite far away. Let's speed my camera back up a bit more. Let's go back up to like 4. There we go. So the first mountain obviously needs to sit here. So let's get our landscape tool out. Ah, gosh, what's wrong with me? There we go. I want the tool strength to be a lot higher. I need the brush to be way higher. Now, I will smooth all this out. Oh, no. That's way too much. Just going to keep smooth it out a bit more. Now, I'm going to use this tool to kind of decide where I want the mountain to be. There we go. Let's just do that. And now we know it's got to make an arch shape, with this top bit being the sort of focal point, right? And we can actually use erosion a bit to erode this mountain. Just going to keep eroding at the parts where I want it to kind of come down. Let's go. This might be too close, to be honest. Not terrible. Not quite where I need it to be, but not terrible. Let's bring it down a bit more. Let's keep eroding at it until we get the shape that we want. It's not a million miles away from where it should be. I'm just going to smooth that out a bit. Let's go again. Wow, it's really, really close to kind of how it needs to be. And then we need to kind of have behind here. Now I'm going to have to move the river. It's going to have to hug closer to the other mountain. But we can do that. Now select it, and then we want to get all of our control points so we can see them. There we go. Let's drag this. Now it doesn't really matter if you can't see the river. I just want to get it out of the way so it's not going to affect anything. I mean, if you're a perfectionist, by all means, maneuver it and get it looking exactly how you want your whole scene to be. If you were making a video game out of this, then obviously I would make sure that everything was perfect. But because we're only making a scene, we're just wanting to make a very quick scene in sort of, 30 minutes or less. I'm not too worried about what we can't see, So, I now need to do the second one. Let's hit the sculpt button. Oh, that's too much. It needs to be large, but not that large. And again, we're going to just do the same thing, flatten it off to where we want it. I just want to make sure I can actually see it behind this one. Not quite. So it probably needs to be a little bit higher. And again, flatten it off. That should, in theory, be good enough. And then we just need to do exactly what we did. Smooth it out first, is what I always do. So at least the rest of it looks kind of natural. And then erode. Just erode that front bit. Keep eroding until you get roughly the shape you're looking for, and smooth it out as well. Let's just make sure we can see it from behind here. Yeah, we actually can. That looks pretty good. So now we'll select these two. Come down here. Let's just make sure this is at 0.5 and 0.75. Make sure this is the same, 0.5, 0.75. We're going to up our density now as well. For painting to probably 0.1. Just see how that looks. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. And then we just want to kind of run behind our scene. You might want to do the hills a bit more denser. That's up to you guys. But I mean, that's pretty dense to me. Oh, I've put it in the wrong area here. Let's scoot back down, erase these ones in here. Now find your perfect position. Mine's probably about here. Now we can't see the other mountain now, so we need to bring it up just so it sits in between this tree line here. If anything, this mountain's probably a bit too big. I should have probably knocked a bit more off here so you could see it. But we can always just make the other mountain just that little bit bigger. The other thing I need to do, if I can, is come out of this for a second, find our Brushify pack, and find where it says ground, forest, rocks. Let's open up one. No, I don't know if I like that one. That could work. I need to let the textures compile. Okay, so we can now drag that in. We've got this kind of, it's a little bit bigger than this actually. Let's just check the other one. Oh, I think I like the other one better. Let's get rid of that. You might have to compile again all the bits and pieces. Okay, oh, that looks a lot better. A lot closer to what we were going for anyway. Let's just get it into a bit of a better position. I might drop it a little bit. No, actually I kind of like where it was, and I want to just bring it closer to that bank. Maybe rotate it a little bit more. Let's get ourselves, oh gosh, I need to drop that sensitivity of that camera every time I'm trying to get into position. Let's drop back a little bit more. So yeah, as I said, other than dropping the dropping this hill here and then putting in the other hill a bit higher, we're actually not a million miles away from how it looked in the photo. I mean, if I drag it back in, you can see we've got the one hill. We need to get the other hill in there, but that's okay. We could have done with maybe some denser bush here, and there is a structure there, but I can't really tell what it is, so I didn't bother to put it in. But we got the kind of rock formation here going. We got this little thing here, you know, and it's just, again, it all comes down to how much time you want to spend putting your scene together. And you think about everything we've put into this series. It's 4 episodes long. We've covered splines, foliage, landscape, world composition, and now that we have all that, it's taken me 25 minutes to pull this scene together. 25 minutes to get this looking, you know, close to how I want it. And it all comes down to how much time you want to spend fiddling and tinkering and getting things perfect. Again, if I spent an hour or two on this and I tweak things, remove things, put things back in and change things, mess with the landscape, you could see how quick and easy I could get this looking the way I want it to. Now, I've got a few advantages, of course. You know, I've got that Brushify pack, and that's provided me with all these trees and rocks and river texture, to work from. So that is an advantage, you know. But it's the tools that you have. You might have better trees than I have, and your scene will look a million times better than mine does, you know. So yeah, hopefully this has been useful, just looking at ways to set your scene, and perspective matters a lot in Unreal Engine 5. If I was to zoom out now, you know, you've got nothing here. There's that horrible looking mess in the background. This isn't perfect over here. You know, it's all about perspective when it comes to Unreal Engine 5. A friend of mine who taught me Unreal Engine, he used to use a great phrase, smoke and mirrors. You know, smoke and mirrors is important in game development. It's not about what you haven't done, it's about what the player sees. That's all that matters. So if you've got like a room and there's a locked door, it doesn't matter what's behind that locked door. It can be an absolute empty void. Like, for example, behind these trees, you know, I plugged in the gaps, and behind it is absolutely nothing. Now, I could waste 20 minutes plugging trees in here to fill it up, but there is literally only, I mean, I did it over here, but it's not necessary. You can't see it, it doesn't matter. It only matters what the player sees. So always remember that when you're making your environments, only worry about what the player can actually physically see. Alright, but thank you so much, guys. Hopefully you found this useful, and I will see you in tomorrow's tutorial. Take care. Much love. Bye bye.